All right, guys, moving right along through the day three receivers. We've got an old friend here, Puka Nacua, former Washington Husky, spent the last couple years at the BYU Cougars. Could not find his age. I think he's a little bit on the older side, though, but also a little bit on the bigger side. 6'2", 201 pounds, 31.5-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. The only big board that really likes him seems to be the Draft Network. They have him going in around the fourth. A lot of the others had him going in like the sixth. The aggregate site says somewhere around the fifth. Seems like a reasonable compromise to me. But this is another guy who really grew on me the more I looked into it. Last 2 years, BYU has used him as a quality vertical threat combined with somebody who's going to make plays on every ball thrown his direction. Plus, he's practically a Deebo Samuel type running back, too, with the way they gave him the ball on the ground as well. So, Puka Nacua, pretty versatile in that regard. He's got pretty decent size, 6'2", 201 pounds. Pretty nice. He's going to fight like you know what to get every single ball that is thrown his way. He's a good blocker. He's a tenacious blocker. He's somebody who's absolutely going to fight hard to spring his teammates for big plays. He's got some deep threat. I know he didn't do the combine, so we don't know his exact straight line speed, but BYU used him as a deep threat. He's somebody who can take a quick pass for a big play by breaking tackles. So he's got yards after the catch skills. And look at all the stuff he did as a jet sweep player. He had over 350 rushing yards these last 2 years. He ended up with about 39 rushing attempts. And look, minimum, and I know this isn't going to be enough to get anybody to want to spend even like a fourth round pick on him, but Puka is going to, at the very least, be a demon on special teams. Not necessarily as a returner, but coverage. So I liked a lot of things about Puka Nacua after looking at him a little bit more. Now, he is going to have to diversify his routes. As of right now, he mostly just runs vertical routes and then catches those little short passes where you get schemed open and don't really run a route. He kind of gets shut down by press coverage, which is surprising given how big and strong he is for a receiver. And he does struggle to separate from coverage at times. He's not necessarily somebody who's going to generate a lot of separation with his super deceptive route running skills. He doesn't have those yet. So I like a lot of things about Puka. There's also some stuff that kind of leaves me hanging. And I don't know how much he can do in this offense, given that he doesn't run that many routes. But he can learn. And in the meantime, he's going to give you some other stuff as well. At the very least, special teams value. I'll take him in the fifth, maybe the late fourth. Okay, now we have one of my favorites in this class, the whole class, Andre Yoshivas of Princeton, 23 years old, physical freak. That's what he is. 6'3", 205 pounds, 32-inch arms, 8 3/4-inch hands. So he's got the size. He's tall. 4'4", 340. He's got the speed. 152 10-yard split. Got the acceleration. 39-inch vert. 10-foot 8-inch broad. He's got the explosiveness. Nice little three cone. 6.85. 1.1, 4.12 20 yards shuttle. 19 bench press reps. He had a great combine. He turned heads at the combine, man. And because of this, one of the big boards, ESPN, has him in the fourth. Now, as of right now, most of the big boards don't. Well, actually, excuse me, the Draft Network does as well. But the aggregate says he's going to be somewhere in the fifth round. That's the expectation right now for Yoshivas. Could be, but with the talent on display here, there could be a lot more. He was quite productive last year for Princeton. He averaged almost 100 receiving yards a game, over 6.5 catches a game, 7 touchdowns. And look, it's pretty obvious why this guy is appealing. He's fast, he's a great athlete, and he's big. He's got great ball skills. He's somebody who's going to make a play on every ball that gets thrown anywhere in his general direction. He's good at using his speed to get deep, and he's also good at using his speed threat to do an in-breaking route that he gets wide open on because the defensive back was so scared of him going deep. He's got great hands. He doesn't drop very many passes. So you put all this together, combined with his above average ability to get yards after the catch, that's a lot of the stuff that makes up a quality receiver in the NFL. So there is already a full package of stuff to really be intrigued by here. Now, he's not a very good blocker. He does need to add more routes to his tree. I do think that it's not like he's a pure straight line vertical receiver, but he is going to have to learn how to run more routes. He's going to have to learn how to run more refined routes. And when he's playing at a place like Princeton, playing against the opposition that he's playing against, which obviously is extremely weak, even by the standards of a small college, you don't really have to worry about running super refined routes or running a lot of different routes. But in the NFL, he obviously will have to learn how to do that. But the upside here is immense. I would definitely take this guy in the 5th round. No problem spending a 5th round pick on this guy. I do it all day. I would bite a little earlier than that. I'd take him in the 4th. If we took this guy with the first pick of round 4, if we ended up with the first pick in round 4 and we took Yoshivas, I wouldn't even be upset about it. The upside is huge. Even if he probably never gets there, it's fine. Okay, now we have Dante Dimas Jr. of the Maryland Terrapins, 22 years old, 6'3", 212 pounds, long arms, 34.25-inch arms, long arms. Good luck outreaching him for the ball. 9 3/4-inch hands. Combine, not great. Pretty slow, although he is a bigger guy, so it's not unexpected. 4.57, 10-yard split was okay. 35.5-inch vert, 10-foot 3-inch broad. Through 4.39 20-yard shuttle, decent enough combine, especially given his size. Sports Illustrated loves him. They say 3rd round. ESPN says 4th. PFF says like 6th. And CBS and the Draft Network say undrafted. Aggregate says sometime in the late 5th, maybe early 6th. Not a lot of production these last couple years. Last year in particular, he played in all 12 games and only gave you 22 catches. Kind of disturbing, because the previous year he looked like he was about ready to break out. He was on pace to have well over 1,200 yards, and didn't happen. So kind of a disturbing lack of production in 2022. But there are still a lot of things to like. He's got great hands. He's big. Knows how to use his size pretty well. He's skilled at route running. He runs good routes. He's going to, again, use the tempo to keep defenders guessing. He's got big catch radius. He can go up. He can go to the left, go to the right. If you throw the ball in his general vicinity, he's at least going to have a vicinity. He's going to at least have a chance. He's also good after the catch. He's going to break tackles. He's going to use his moves in the open field to make plays after the catch. And you try to press him, he's going to beat your press frequently. He's got a good release against line of scrimmage jams. Now, he suffered some injuries in college, so you're already dealing with a pretty injury-prone player here, which you don't like. He's never going to burn people with his speed. His acceleration is mediocre at best. And while I do think he's a good route runner, this might be hard for him to get around, but his breaks are not great. Like, at the point of the break, you want to plant and go. He can round it off a little bit. I don't think his route running is bad, but I think just him being such a bigger player might be inhibiting his ability to run perfect routes, which we don't like. Now, overall, with Dante Dimas, it feels like there's a low ceiling here. He'll never be a star in the NFL, and the injuries are also a concern, but there are so many positive traits here with his physicality, his catch radius, his hands, his yards after the catch skills. He has a place in the NFL. I would take him in the 6th round, worth that 6th round lottery ticket, as they call him. So, yeah, unlikely that things pan out for him, but worth the shot in the 6th. All right, one more guy in this video. Here's another one of my favorites. This has been a really good video for my sleeper favorites. Bryce Ford-Wheaton of West Virginia, the Mountaineers. 23 years old. This guy is like, he's not quite DK Metcalf, but there's a very good comp there. He had a 6'4", 221-pound frame at the combine. Nice long arms, 33.5 inches, 9 3/8-inch hands. So he's big. Dude is fast, 4.38 40, one of the best 40 times in the class. Acceleration's okay, 1.54 is good enough for a guy of his size. 41-inch vert, really good. Jumped out the building. 10-foot 9-inch broad is also quite good. 6.973 cone, not ideal, but for his size, it's going to work. 4.15 20-yard shuttle. I mean, he had a superstar combine. and he got a lot of attention with it. With that being said, some of the big boards have him going in the 7th or undrafted. PFF has him in like the 5th, and they actually like him the most of the major big boards. That being said, the aggregate, I think, is starting to reflect his talent and potential. They have him going in the 5th, and I expect him to go at least in the 5th at this point. Not huge production, but not bad production. The last 2 years, he's given you 104 catches for close to 1,200. Actually, I think it's 1,150 yards and 10 touchdowns. So, not elite production, but not terrible production either. I mean, what we are seeing here with Bryce Ford-Wheaton is that DK Metcalf mix of speed and size. That alone is going to get my attention. He's a great athlete as well. He's good at contested catches. He's going to push through contact for bonus yards. Going to be hard to bring him down. He's always going to make sure to squeeze out those extra yards with his pure strength and physicality. His ball skills are improving. You can see it from the tape last year versus the year before. And again, he teased the ability to do so much more at the NFL level with that combine. He's good against press as well. You press him, he's going to beat it with his release. Now, the drawbacks with Bryce Ford-Wheaton, he doesn't have great hands. He also doesn't run that many different routes, and the routes he runs are not necessarily great. Even though he showed that he should be able to be an elite vertical threat with the combine he had, didn't really show it at West Virginia. He wasn't used as a vertical threat very much that I saw, so that's a little bit suspicious, but it could just be a development thing. Overall, he is just going to have to develop more. He is a little bit on the raw side. And honestly, a lot of the things that I just said, it sounds a little bit like DK Metcalf, so the comparison is warranted. So the potential is just crazy. And him learning under DK Metcalf makes a lot of sense to me. So I would reach for him in the 4th round. I like him that much. Really like his potential. If I have to take him in the 4th round, then so be it. All right, more receivers coming later. See you guys soon. Go Hawks.